When you're looking for a vendor to do some valuable updates or upgrades to your home, what is the most important thing to be looking out for? Hey guys, this is Trevor Burris here with the Trev and Jess team of Love It Properties, and in my time as a real estate agent, I've definitely learned a lot about connecting my clients with great vendors. But there is one really important thing to avoid out of all the things I could tell you to avoid when selecting a vendor, and that's what we're going to talk about today. I also have a bonus list of a bunch of other things to avoid if you stick around until the end to see that. So let's discuss my number one thing to avoid when selecting the right vendor. I'll introduce this number one thing by telling a couple of personal stories from my own experience and also some experiences from some of my clients. When we first got into home ownership, we were total newbies when it came to anything related to updates or upgrades. We had a couple of emergency plumbing situations that popped up, and I didn't even know at that point to call our insurance when it got really bad. But I started to see a pattern after a few situations. If I picked up the phone and called the very first vendor that popped up on my Google search, odds are it was going to be a big box company or some local Goliath that had all the marketing power to get my attention. These guys have a big name, but they also can charge a big price for it. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but in this situation, I was a poor first-time home buyer and I didn't know any different, so I popped on the first one I saw, and I absolutely overpaid. Fast forward a couple of years, and now I've become a weekend warrior DIYer. If there's any project I can dig up tutorials for on YouTube, then I'm going to do it myself. And I'm definitely not going to fall for those expensive vendors again. Well, after a few projects took way too long, including a gutter project that took 3 weeks and a drywall project I never really finished, I discovered that a DIY project is not necessarily the best use of my time or money. In several of my DIY projects, I probably paid as much, if not more, than what I would have paid just to have a pro do it to begin with. Then, as the home projects continued to rack up throughout the years, I realized the number one thing I should have avoided when selecting a vendor is not to settle for the first quote you get, but to keep shopping to compare quotes from multiple vendors. We all typically fall into one of these camps. I'm too busy to track down multiple vendors to get quotes. I'm too lazy to track down vendors, or I don't need vendors, I'm independent. I've been in all of these camps at one point or another, but I've learned that the time and money you save just by spending a little more time comparing vendors can make a massive difference. Several times now, I've lined up 3 to 4 vendors against each other and been shocked by the results I get. One of those projects, I needed several windows installed in our living room. I ended up saving $3,000 to $4,000 just by talking to enough folks to find the right vendor. After learning my lesson the first time, I hired a gutter professional on our most recent purchase and saved $2,000 to $3,000 just by comparing vendors. I also saved almost $4,000 when I installed a new water heater by shopping vendors. One of my most recent clients was looking at tree companies to get rid of some problem trees at a new home they just purchased. I encouraged them not to just take the first quote they got from a vendor a family member had referred them to. Sure enough, it saved them thousands of dollars. Another recent client needed to hire a whole house paint job. After vetting multiple, one stood out as the best quality option and also the cheapest, and it ended up saving them thousands. The reality is, companies are out there competing for your business. They may not be the biggest marketers on the block, but they're undercutting their competition in order to grow and be successful. So pit them up against other companies to see if they have the same standards and quality, and then select the one. That's the best combination of bang for your buck. Don't do what I did and just select the first one you see. Here's a quick list, as promised, of a few other tips to think through before selecting a vendor. Number 1, talk to friends, family, a trusted realtor, coworkers, neighbors about vendors they've hired. This is a great way to collect more options for quotes and also to get first-hand experience on how that vendor did. Number 2, don't skip the online searches. This allows you to read transparent reviews, search through multiple options, and also check for certifications and licenses. Number 3, speaking of licenses, it's a great idea to make sure the vendor you're hiring is licensed, bonded, and insured for the work they're about to do. This protects you from liability and ensures you're working with a professional. Number 4, it's not just about the work. When vetting vendors, ask about their experience, approach to project, timelines, and what happens if they bump against some unexpected challenges. Especially if you're signing on for a longer project, you want to make sure this vendor can communicate well and meet the goals that you've set for them. Number 5, Once you've chosen a vendor, get all the details in writing. A clear contract should outline the scope of work, timelines, costs, and warranties. Don't rely on promises or their word if something doesn't go smoothly. And finally, number 6, cheapest is not always best. Comparing quotes can help you find the best budget option, but you may want to pay a little more to ensure you're getting the best quality and efficiency option out there. And that's it. Hopefully this video will help you save thousands as you think through some projects you have coming up. If you need any great recommendations on local vendors in our Raleigh area, hit me up. My information is in the description below. And please like, share, and subscribe if this was helpful for you today. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.